filmmaking has been my passion my whole life, especially stories. Excuse me, having fun at the movies. And yeah, just it's always been in my lifeblood. I started community theater when I was 7 years old, as well as reading Hollywood Reporter and Variety. So it's just been something I've always done.
What can you tell us about your filming of Tar?
In filming Tar, what we want to do is bring to life a fun throwback adventure horror movie, something where people could go escape and have a good time for a couple hours. And it's perfect timing because it's Halloween. So really excited to bring the La Brea Tar Pits also to life because that's a place I went to as a kid.
Have you shot all the movie in Los Angeles?
What's that?
Have you shot all the movie in Los Angeles?
I have. I've shot multiple films in Los Angeles. I've shot some on the East Coast too, but our last film, Restoring Tomorrow, I filmed in Los Angeles as well. That one was Oscar shortlisted, so really proud of what we did there.
What should be for you a good acting direction?
What's before me?
Yes, a good acting direction.
I always like with actors to make sure that they're able to lend some of their self to our movie. So in working in this film with people like Academy Award nominee Greene or Timothy Bottoms, these legendary actors, I want to make sure that they take from the script what they want and then bring it to life and add whatever they want to the script, to the scene, so that together we're collaborating. Because to me, filmmaking could be renamed collaborating.
What can you tell us about your character, Zach Greenwood, in this movie?
Zach Greenwood is a typical dude who has a small business, grew up with his family business, immigrants from Europe to Los Angeles, and he's sick of it. He's sick of being a part of the family business, but he also has push and pull with his dad of what they should do because now they have to close down the business because of the demand of the subway system being built and condos being built. So he's always struggling to make sure that you'll see he goes through an arc of learning a bit about himself as he goes through this insane experience.
Do you believe in some Los Angeles urban legends?
I don't know if I believe in them as much as I love them. I love urban legends and the idea that a place that I went to as a kid has a story like this behind it. I just think it's fantastic. So we really dove in to bring the lore to life and to bring the fun to life of what this movie is and what the story is and the backstory and so on, so that we can show something that people haven't seen before. No one's ever made a movie about the La Brea Tar Pits before.
What were your main sources of inspiration for this movie?
I've always been inspired. Yeah, I've always been inspired not so much by gore horror stuff, but by adventure and story and fun and thrillers. So like Arachnophobia, Indiana Jones, Goonies, movies I used to watch on DVD or Blu-ray as a kid. I just love those kind of fun adventure horror movies.
What can you tell us about the creature of your movie and how have you created it?
So the creature, we work to use as much practical effects as possible. And because I love that concept that it's not all digital. And the creature, I don't want to spoil it too much, but I'll just say it's like no creature you've ever quite seen.
In this specific time, how is it difficult to create a movie and to have some funds to do it? Yeah,
creating this film was an adventure unto itself. We can make a movie about the making of the movie because this film took about a year to film. We had to move locations, work around different actors. And so it took a while to do it because we had, this is not a big budget film. This isn't Transformers. This isn't a Marvel movie. So we had limitations and we tried to take those limitations and use them as best we can for the creative process to build this story to life.
Which are for you the good ingredients to create a good thriller horror movie?
A trailer?
Yeah, horror and thriller movie as this one.
Oh, so to make a trailer for this film.
Yeah.
And was all about showing as much as possible the fun and the lore and the background and what we're going for with this movie, that this movie is a throwback movie, that this movie is about having fun in Halloween. This movie is about the audience. It's not so the trailer is all about that, about showing, look, come have fun this Halloween and have a ride with us, laugh,
After,
jump.
yeah, after some short movies, The Walk, Guest House, Imagine Reality, and a good documentary, Restoring Tomorrow.
Yeah.
It is your first movie. How difficult to create a first movie, and what have you learned on working on these short movies to create this movie?
Yeah, this is the first big narrative movie that
Yeah.
I've directed. I've done a bunch of shorts and done all that, the
Mhm.
festival stuff. But doing this, it's just basically that's a quick process. That's
Mhm.
you shoot in a week and then you're done. And this is elongate that over for us a year. So it was just a lot more stress to try to get it all
Yeah.
to happen, because there's just so many moving parts. And because the budget isn't those massive budgets, we had to work around a lot of pieces to make sure we got what we wanted, and also worked with the limitations that were given to us.
What were the main difficulties that you have made during the make production of this movie?
The
The
most
time, the
difficult
money?
the most difficult days were
Yeah.
days where it was probably the last day of the location and we had
Mhm.
to pull off a big effect or a
Mhm.
big practical effect or a death or something like that to make sure it worked, because we knew there was no second chance. So we had to make it work. So it was always when I would wake up that day, I'd be like, I really hope we pull this off and finish the day with that done. If we accomplish that in that day, I'd be like, yes, and then worry about the next day.
What was the most difficult scene for you to shoot in this movie, and why?
The most difficult scenes to shoot were definitely the end, like the climax, because there's a lot of without giving away the spoilers, there's a lot of moving pieces in the last about 10 minutes of the movie.
Mhm.
And really everyone, I thank the crew and cast, because everyone did their part to make it work, because it was very hard to we're also working with tar, right? The movie's called Tar. It's a fun thing about a creature that comes up from the La Brea tar pits in a world around that. But tar is also really sticky. It sticks to you. It's
Yeah.
uncomfortable. So to be covered in it all day is
Mhm.
not very enjoyable. So it's and it didn't come off easily. So doing that plus trying to make sure the scenes worked was definitely a challenge for some of those last scenes.
Who are your favorite directors, and which films are the main driving force behind your artistic creation?
I love good storytellers.
Yeah.
So filmmakers that aren't going for spectacle, that aren't just going for in horror for like gross out stuff and lots of supernatural, and in other movies. I just love story. I love the build and the characters. So directors like that. There's a director named Peter Weir who's
Mhm.
made so many amazing films. Uh, I think pretty obviously Spielberg is an influence. What he did with Jaws is an influence to anyone making a movie that has some jumps. And I like some other filmmakers like Richard Linklater,
Mhm.
people who just, I think, tell great stories and dive into, whether they're the biggest hits or not. That doesn't matter to me. What matters with these is just, am I gripped in the storytelling that they've brought to the screen?
Do you have any French actors that you would like to work with?
Ooh,
Good question.
French actors that I'd like to work with. Well, I've always thought it would be cool to work with Gerard Depardieu.
Yeah.
He's such a legend. I
Yes.
just have always thought, man, to work with him would be really cool. I don't even know what he's up to right now. I just know as a kid, he was like the king of French film, and also big in some more kids movies here that I saw. So I just thought, man, this guy seems larger than life. I would love to work with him.
It is. And my last question, which are your current projects?
Current projects, well, everything in our industry right now is very slow to be
Yes.
moving forward. But we do have a talk show that is called The Together Show on Facebook and on YouTube.
Mhm.
And we're building that during this. So we've been doing the talk show. Our next guest is Alec Baldwin. So it's about bringing people together in a time when people are apart. Same with Aaron and Rohit's Hopeless Show podcast, which is a podcast we do every week It's on all podcast apps. And that's the same thing. It's about how can we bring people together and bring hope when all things are feeling hopeless. So we're doing those. And then we have a bunch of projects for the moment that we're allowed to start filming again.
Thanks a lot, Aaron. Have a good day.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Pleasure talking to you. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Go Dodgers.
Yeah.